Grant of Young Voices. It's a conservative publication. Now, just to be clear, he does not think the president can do this through executive order, but he explained the position for us. And my first question is the timing of all this. Coincidence? Tyler, my understanding right off the bat is that you're not necessarily in agreement with what the president has proposed doing with birthright citizenship. But let me get your idea of a few things when it comes to his immigration policies and proposals. First thing I'm wondering is, do you think the timing is a coincidence that we are right before this midterm election? Democrats want to be talking about health care. Republicans, it seems the president wants to talk about immigration.
Absolutely. I mean, it certainly is a timing consideration. Before the midterm, a massive caravan coming to the border. The president has the purpose of riling up the base a little bit. One of the things that his base really supports is his views on immigration. Birthright citizenship is something that a lot of immigration hawks really care about and think is a flaw in our constitutional framework about immigration. And so therefore, pushing it right before the midterms is a convenient way to get Democrats talking about immigration and having to take a tough stand on something that has dubious constitutional footing, while at the same time moving off of the things that they want to talk about, which is Obamacare, Medicare and Medicaid.
Do you think there is any wiggle room in the 14th Amendment? We saw Paul Ryan say, quote, obviously you cannot do that.
The 14th Amendment, there's kind of a political, legal, and sort of like a practical standpoint when it comes to analyzing the 14th Amendment. What people are talking about is that the 14th Amendment says subject to the jurisdiction and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, meaning that there's a constitutional interpretive thinking that when you say all citizens born or all people born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, that there's a redundancy there. And in the case of there being a redundancy, that redundancy tends to mean that there's something else that is coming from that redundancy, whether or not it means that the person or that has to have some sort of significance. And so we've seen over time the interpretation of that significance. And the most dispositive thing that people look to is the case of Wong Kim Ark, which was a 1980 or 1996 case, I believe. And basically that is where our entire framework came from. And people find that problematic because the way that they came down interpreting that was that it was from English common law. But what people don't understand is that a lot of times these cases use English common law as an interpretive measure and find that instructive when interpreting our own Constitution.
The 14th Amendment is going to be that one word,